Hi everyone, this is Darren Tay here. Happy Friday, and we are now the live Q&A. It's on the 29th of May 2020. It's about 9:30 p.m. here in Singapore right now. We are inching towards the month of June. I hope everyone has been well, safe, happy and healthy so far. Again, it thrills me every single week to be able to connect with each and every single one of you watching this live. Whether you're watching this on Facebook Live, watching on YouTube Live, or whether you're watching on Instagram Live. So it gives me a lot of pleasure to be able to connect with you all and to answer some of the questions that you have so kindly contributed, whether it's public speaking related, whether it's business related, or whether it's the general personal questions. I'm more than happy to answer. This particular live Q&A, it's not a pre-recorded sort of video, so that means you can ask questions on the spot. You can keep the questions coming in, and feel free to ask any questions. We have a lot of questions coming in, so we have placed those questions in boxes like these. The one that you see in pink is what we call a public speaking, business, subject matter expertise related kind of topics in there, and then you have the cream white in color box with the personal questions in there. So you can see that there are more public speaking related questions and personal questions because we answered quite a number of them the last session. So I'm going to start off first with a question from the public speaking box, and then I will jump to the personal question and then back to the public speaking box again. I have Derek with me. Derek's my younger brother, so if there's any questions that come in live, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, or whether it's on Instagram, feel free to send your questions over. Derek will actually pass it over to me. Sounds good? Yeah? Okay, so let's get started with our Q&A session, and feel free to comment in there to let us know if you're all safe, you're all healthy. Just type in safe, healthy and happy, and we will feel very happy for you as well. So let me pick a question from here. Right, I have the question here, which is, how can we spontaneously and effectively articulate our thoughts? Well, basically for questions that's got to do with impromptu speaking, meaning the ability to think fast on your feet, the ability to handle a Q&A segment, the ability to excel in your job, scholarship or admissions interview, or even the ability to do well for your oral examination. You see, impromptu speaking terrifies many individuals because of the name and of the nature of the speech, that you don't have a lot of time to prepare. Or do you really? Because here's the thing, a lot of people think that impromptu speaking, you don't really have a lot of time to prepare. But just as with most runs, swims and all, you may not know exactly on the day itself, maybe what kind of challenge it is, but you know that you can do certain things to hone your skills and your strokes. I mean, of course, subjected to whether or not it's already a predetermined format for that competition. Yeah, that's a caveat. But here's the thing. Impromptu speech is something that you can prepare for. Impromptu speech is something that you can train yourself for. And how do you exactly do that? Now, first, let us understand how it all works. Now, impromptu speech, when a question is being asked, a lot of us tend to fumble and we tremble because we have either no ideas, no thoughts whatsoever, or we ask ourselves the wrong question. Oh, what should I do? I'm going to die right now. Things are going so badly. Am I going to lose my reputation? Am I going to get the audience members to hate me? What if this goes viral on YouTube and Facebook? Now, those are the wrong questions to ask, because when you ask yourself mentally that, the brain is going to be looking for answers to answer exactly those questions. That's not what you want. Or it could very well be because you have a lot of ideas. That's the other extreme, and your ideas are just all over the place. You don't know exactly how to make those ideas come out in a coherent sort of flow. So, 2 quick tips for anyone watching this, and you really want to know how to do well for your impromptu speech. You want to be better prepared so you can say goodbye to embarrassing moments. Then these 2 techniques, they prove as very powerful starting points. The first one is to understand that our mind works very well if we have very clear, predetermined structure there for us to pigeonhole the right content. That's why one of the techniques that I often share with my students is the technique called the past, present, future, or the local, national, international, or the tangible, intangible, or the SLEEP technique, because all of which follow one fundamental principle, which is that they have a predetermined structure that you will have in your mind so that you can pigeonhole with the right content in there. Let's take the simplest and the most commonly known, for example, past, present, future. How it works is you can imagine as past, that's one box in your mind, present, that's one box in your mind, and future, that's one box in your mind. If someone were to ask you a question, hey Darren, tell me more about your country. So say, because I'm born, bred, raised here in Singapore, so I can, of course, choose to talk about Singapore if I want to do it in a very structured, organized manner, such that when I say it, it's as if I'm very well prepared, right? Using past, present, future allows me to slot and pigeonhole the right content in there. I can first start by talking about how Singapore was like in the past. If someone were to ask me, tell me more about your country, Singapore, I can talk about how Singapore was like in the past, before going to how Singapore is right now, having gone through the odds, how Singapore is a thriving metropolis, cosmopolitan society, and then make a prediction as to how Singapore is going to be like in the future. You see, when there's this structure there, it makes it abundantly clear for your audience members to know, hey, that's what you're going to be talking about, and they can also prepare themselves for what's going to come next. Sounds good? Yeah? Now, the other technique, the other tip that I want to share with you all is that for impromptu, you need to ask yourself the right question. So that's why I also share one of the techniques for impromptu is something called the interrogative pronouns technique. What exactly is this technique? It's basically using the 5W1H, your who, what, when, where, why, and how. See, when you ask your mind, am I going to die? Are the audience members going to laugh at me? Am I going to lose that promotion? What if this video goes viral? Here's the thing, your brain is going to find answers to answer those questions. Instead, why don't ask the right questions? Ask the right questions. Like if someone were to ask you, is public speaking useful? And your mind goes blank, you don't know what to say. Ask any question that starts with an interrogative pronoun because it makes it an open-ended question. Ask yourself the question then, okay, so who shall I look at this question from? Whose perspective? Right? Or who, as in the target audience? Is it how is public speaking useful for kids? Or maybe how is public speaking useful for working adults? So who, that's the first interrogative pronoun, right? When would be a good time to start learning public speaking? Oh, then you can talk about when is a good time, right? Where would be a good place to learn? You can talk about where would be a good place. Yeah, and you can also talk about why is it important, you can talk about why, and how is it important, you can talk about the different scenarios in which it's important. So you can see how useful these techniques can be as a starting point for you to be able to calm yourself down and answer in a way that's going to help you dazzle your audience. Sounds good? All right. So with that, keep your questions coming in. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm going to pick a question from the personal question box. The question is, what would be a good theme song for your life? What would be a good theme song for your life? Wow. I would say the song that has the lyrics, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I personally resonate with that very, very well because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's a very powerful phrase. Kelly Clarkson? Yeah. So it's very powerful. Why? Because a lot of times when we think of something as a problem, a huge problem, when we see things in perspective, when we take that deep breath in, and we calm ourselves down and take a look at how fortunate we are in the position that we are in right now, the resources that are available to us, the resourcefulness of us as individuals, we can't help but feel grateful that if that most of the time is not so much of a problem, it could just be more of an irritation, like our boss asking us to submit something, a client pressing for something, a colleague asking for something, parents asking for something. Again, it could be more of an irritation, and when we see it as an issue which it's going to make us stronger, then it's going to be very helpful. Some people ask, Darren, how has COVID-19 impacted your business? I would say, yes, it has affected my business, not just my business, everybody's business. So it has impacted in a way which has changed consumers' habits. But another thing that I thought that was really, really powerful, was that with COVID-19, it really helped a lot of us grow stronger. It helped a lot of us build stronger ties with families and friends. It helped us push forth for business innovation and change that would otherwise take years. That we have fast forwarded, our team has fast forwarded, and bringing our training not just online but global as well within just a very short period of time. So because of that, I would say we should often see whether what's the learning points, or what are the learning points we can get from that experience? If it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. A breakup, if it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. Being able to survive COVID-19, let's take that as a blessing. It makes us stronger in a certain way, right? For example, failing an exam, sure, it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger in another way as well. So I would say that would be a very good theme song for me. I have failed many times in my life, whether or not it's in terms of speech contest. I've won many, but I've also lost many. Yeah, people see the wins, by the way. People don't quite see the losses. And they expect you to win after a while, but knowing that in order to win, we must first suffer a few losses to learn from those losses. Ajahn Brahm, a very wise meditation leader, thought leader, said one thing very well, that you should lose in life because you learn way more from the losses than from the winnings. And I thought that's very beautiful a message. Yeah. So if it resonates with you, just click on like and just type in some comments. You can even share your story. We'll be more than happy to have you, offer you this platform to share your stories with the rest of the individuals tuning in and individuals who are going to watch this live as well. So I'm going to pick another question from the public speaking box. Okay, here it is. This is from Hatem. The question is, what's the importance of making pauses while presenting to the audiences or presenting to audience members? So you see, making pauses, they are very effective. I'm not sure if you've heard of this saying, and that is, you communicate even when you are not speaking. Let me say this again. You communicate even when you're not speaking. That means communication still happens even when there's a period of silence. I know what you must be thinking right now. Those watching on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram, you must be thinking this, oh Darren, sure, I know that body language, unlike words, can be used to communicate. I say yes, but what I'm driving at is something even more than that. On top of just body language being able to communicate, silence, that means you don't even use your body, just silence itself communicates. Because when after you use a punchline or a punch word and there's silence after that and you let the audience members laugh and you don't step on their laughter, that communicates. It communicates calmness, presence, and it lets the audience members feel the impact even more. If the audience members can feel the impact even more while you are being silent, in fact, it's precisely because you are silent, that's how and that's why they're able to feel the impact. Who is to say that that's not communicating? Yeah. And the other thing too is that we adopt pauses because we want the audience members to transform what would be a speech into a conversation. Now, I'm using the term loosely as just referring to a monologue. Let me give you an example. If I were to just rattle on, it's just a one-way flow of information. But if I know how to toss in rhetorical questions in my speech, even if the audience members don't answer me verbally, they will still think about it and answer it mentally. Like, for example, if I were to say, ladies and gentlemen, when was the last time you said I love you to your parents? When was the last time you did something useful for someone? When was the last time you did something sweet for someone? And you just pause. Because in that few seconds of pause, that's the point in time that the audience members can actually answer you mentally. And that's what you want. Now, here's the catch. A lot of individuals don't know how to pause effectively. A lot of individuals don't dare to pause because they feel that by pausing, it means that I'm unsure of something. I'm trying to recall what I have to say next. It makes me feel awkward. And that's because we are pausing it wrongly. How do you pause effectively? You pause while maintaining eye contact with the audience. That means you don't pause while, you don't pause like that. But you pause while saying, ladies and gentlemen, when was the last time you said I love you to your mom? And when was the last time? So when you pause while maintaining eye contact. Yeah? So thank you for the question. It gives me the opportunity to be able to clarify this and then for more individuals to take on these skills and to use it at the workplace. Yeah? Even in school as well. Okay, next question. This question is a personal question. Darren, what's your favorite body part? Well, I would say my favorite body part. I would say my mouth. Why? Because it's a very powerful tool to be able to convey and communicate ideas. It's also a very powerful part that allows me to smile, to bridge the distance between me and an otherwise stranger. So yeah, my mouth, absolutely. I like these fun questions. Okay, another question. How can I interact with people I don't like or when they look down on me? Oh, this is a powerful question. You see, I've had on multiple occasions have to deal with individuals who are not my fans. You'll be surprised because you all watching this particular program, either you have been following me for some time or you've just recently followed because you find that some of the content that I share, they're useful for you, yeah, and it's applicable, it's practicable, it's very practical. Coming more from a practitioner standpoint and a theoretical standpoint, but I can tell you no matter how good my techniques are, there will be one or two individuals who don't like me. And I have to live with that. And let me just give you an example. When we ran a particular campaign online, promoting a free resource, I'm not even selling anything, a free resource, and of course, if someone likes it, share it. We have individuals who can comment on things that's got nothing to do with the content itself. They can comment on things like, Darren, I don't like your hair, Darren, I don't like your eyes, I don't like your lips. Well, I think these comments, I've said it in previous videos as well, that when someone can only say bad things about your lips or your eyes or your hair or whatever the case may be, your skin color and all, that means they have ran out of other important things that's got to do with the substance of my speech and that's got to do with the meat and the content proper, that they have to find these other ways to go low. And Michelle Obama said something very well, that when others go low, you go high, right? So for me, it really just don't engage with them. So have I ever encountered bad things that people have said? Of course. But that's not the question that was being asked. The question asked is, how do you then interact with people? I suppose, not just online. Online I've already just shared earlier, but face-to-face. How do you interact with these individuals that you don't like or who look down on you? Have I encountered that? Of course. Let me share with you. When I went to a particular country, I shall not name the country, I was there for a conference. The majority of the audience members, they were amazed by my subject matter expertise. I'm not bragging here, they were the ones who gave me the comments. They were amazed as to how I'm able to acquire effective communication skills at a young age, even below the age of 30, and become the world number one in public speaking below the age of 30. They were amazed at that and were saying that when I was 30, I wasn't able to do half of what you are doing. We have people who are very supportive. But we also had individuals, and I remember one individual who came up to me and said that, Darren, I in particular don't think you're a good speaker. Well, I have nothing against that. I mean, you are entitled to your opinion, right? And I don't have to please everyone. Everyone have their good, best speakers and speakers they like and speakers they don't like. So I'm all right with that. A few years back, maybe not. But now, I mean, then I was pretty okay already. Yeah, we all had that learning curve. Then he said, I don't like because when you share those ideas, I think that someone your age, you don't know what you're talking about. So I then asked further, and it turned out that a particular person had this preconceived notion that if you are someone below the age of 30, you cannot become a good speaker. In my mind, I was thinking, how ignorant can that be? Because I've heard of many different comments. People saying that, in some countries, people saying that because you're female, you cannot become a good speaker, or you're not taken seriously. Some people said, oh, because you're Asian, you're not taken seriously. That's because of the color of my skin. Because you are young, that's why you're not taken seriously. I think individuals who mention that, I feel sorry for them. I don't feel angry. I did when I was much younger. But now, no. Because it takes someone really that ignorant to not go beyond the cosmetics, go beyond my skin color, my gender, my age, and to really see the skill in there. Ask any young individual who's great at playing the piano, maybe at the age of 14 or 15, because that individual has clocked in 10 years of playing experience since the age of 4. As compared to me at age 30, can I say that because I'm age 30 as compared to someone who's age 14, I'm therefore for sure better than the other person in playing the piano? I will look down upon that person? No, because anything that's skill-based, it's got nothing to do with your age. It has got everything got to do with clocking in the right mileage, getting the right mentor, doing and repeating, rinsing and repeating the right skills. So if you do all those things right, you can do it at a way faster pace than someone who's at age 70 or 80 years old. And we know of individuals who are of an advanced age who cannot speak as effectively on stage. So how ignorant can that particular comment be? But of course, instead of being angry at that particular person, what I did was, I knew, and the person was very vocal about not liking me. But what I did was, at that point in time, then speak with the person and find out what's the person's motivation. Why did the person join the conference? Yeah, what were some of the areas that the person was trying to improve on? And I found that the particular person had a huge problem in dealing with impromptu speech. His friend joined in and shared that as well. And I shared 2 quick tips. And you know what? At the end of the day, when I treated the other person as a human being, and I applied even more kindness by not reacting to that statement, but more of responding to that and say that, well, okay, I'll look past it and I'll just look at some other areas. Maybe you have a deep-seated concern, some problems that maybe I could try and just give some value. I'll just do my best. I'll apply more kindness. Maybe because of your past experiences, you felt a certain way, or because of a certain experience, you had that preconceived notion. Let me just apply a lot of kindness. And I can tell you, it takes a lot of effort to apply that much kindness. It takes a lot of practice. We are only humans. This comes with practice, a lot of mindfulness practice. So when I was able to do that, and I shared the 2 tips, was it the same 2 tips? Okay, maybe different, that I shared with you guys earlier. The other person was appreciative, and to be honest, the other person followed me on Facebook and has been following some of my tips and my strategies. So really, when someone treats you with condescension, you can choose to do the same to the other person, or you can choose to respond instead of react to that. One last thing that I want to share with you, and that is, I had one encounter when someone came up to me and said, Darren, you know what, I just don't like you. We have certain speakers who take on a very direct, conversational approach. We know. They are not more collaborative. Their conversation is just very direct. Nothing maybe in particular, like they don't hate you, but it's just that they're just very, very direct. That particular friend was from America. Very, very direct. And told me that, Darren, you know what, I just don't like you. And at that point in time, I recall what my mentor shared with me. If you're able to apply a lot of kindness, if you're able to look at what's something good about that particular person, and you say that to that person, it already shows that you're at a different level. And it's character building for you. You stand to gain instead of getting all upset about it, right? So one very good reply to someone who says, you know what, I just don't like you, could very well be, I think that's just a bit of a pity, but you know what, I actually like you quite a lot for the strengths that you exhibited, but you know, if it doesn't turn out that well and you don't like me, sure, we shall see how it develops, and you know, I still wish you well. And I think that would be a very, very beautiful response. Yeah. So thank you for that question. Thank you. The next question is, this is from a personal question box. Darren, what's your annoying habit? Oh, I like this. What's your annoying habit? I don't know whether you can say that as an annoying habit. My annoying habit is, if you're talking about sleep habit, I need to have a bolster. So without a bolster, I tend to get a bit cranky. Another annoying habit is, maybe you can say I tend to be quite lazy, so I don't cook my own meals. If it's not already cooked, I'll just buy. Maybe that's an annoying habit. The other annoying habit is I tend to maybe overanalyze, overthink. A needed skill, I would say, during my time as a legal practitioner, as a lawyer. I mean, we have to think a few steps ahead. Have to. It's not whether we need to, but we have to, right? In business as well, we have to think a few steps ahead. I mean, COVID hits, I'm not just going to sit down, wait and see, but I'm going to see like what's going to happen and what I can do now so that I better prepare myself to be, the first few out of the gate, right? We can't just sit there and just wait. Our clients not just going to wait for us. Our clients would want to to feel the sense of trust that we are doing something proactively as fast as we possibly can to help them out. So, but I can tell you that comes at a cost. The cost will be at your own personal health, where you have to think a lot, and when your brain doesn't get the time to, you just settle down, put the bottle down, rest and all, it takes a toll on your health, whether in terms of heart health, in terms of skin health, in terms of digestive health. All these, it will affect. So I would say it's really a balance, and I've not perfected the balance, no way. I would say I'm still learning a lot from entrepreneurs, learning a lot from the journey that I take. And I guess the most powerful authority in this sense is your experience. You have to go through that before you then realize what is the right balance for you. Yeah? So thank you for that question. I think it's really very lovely. Let me pick another question here. The next question is, what can we do since we are all staying at home? What can we do since we are all staying at home? A few things. First one, I always advise is to exercise. When you exercise, your body is a natural factory that produces natural chemicals, hormones to help you feel better, to help you feel more healthy. So for sure, go for that. Go for about 30 seconds per day. But I've been guilty as well that I've not been able to keep up with that. Oh, by the way, going back to the annoying habit, I would say another annoying habit is I tend to sleep a little is another statement. I tend to sleep late, which I've been trying to sleep at 12. But yeah, I've been catching myself sleeping quite late. So that's also another annoying habit. It tends to affect the time that I wake up as well. But anyways, what can we do since we all stay at home? So exercising is important. The other one is I find it very powerful is just take the opportunity to learn. It can be learning online. Now you are able to even take up courses from far away from your country, around the world. Do a lot of reading. It's going to be very helpful. And reading is one of a very useful mental exercise. Do a lot of mindfulness practice and meditation. Plus, continue to stay connected with your friends and have adequate rest and a good meal. So I think these are beautiful ways, beautiful things to do as well, staying at home. Yep. Okay. In the interest of time, I'll probably take just maybe about 3 more questions. If you have any more questions coming in, just feel free to let us know. I'll be picking questions from the box. The other question is from a personal question box is, what sports do you enjoy watching? Quite a few. I enjoy watching badminton. Sometimes I do watch tennis. I recently watched billiard, pool. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Sports and entertainment, WWE. Back then it was called WWF. So I watched that for a while until I think some of my favorite superstars, they've left the scene. Like Dwayne Douglas Johnson, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Some of my favorite wrestlers, yeah. If you know any of them, you can just feel free to comment. Who's your favorite wrestler? Just let me know as well, yeah? Okay, next is this. Hi Darren, this is from Vietnam. Oh, hello. I have a question for you, and that is how to prepare for your confidence to speak in front of people. Well, you see, confidence it's something which we want to exude, and it's not just one part of our nonverbal communication cue or perhaps the content itself that helps us to exude confidence. It's a basket of indicators and a basket of cues to look at. 1, facial expression. Generally speaking, if the content needs to be appropriate as well, if you smile appropriately and genuinely on stage, smiling is one of the most beautiful ways to help you connect with the audience members directly, and it's going to help you exude confidence, help you calm your nerves, and you're able to speak in a more relaxed manner. 1. 2, overall power poses. Whether or not your shoulders are slouched, chin parallel with the ground, feet shoulder width apart, the way you stand is going to affect the projection of your voice, it's going to affect the confidence that you reflect. 3, vocal projection. The better you can project your voice, the more confident you feel and look to the audience members. 4, vocal variety. For someone who is capable enough to use the different elements from speed to pitch to volume, it showcases how effective you are in that particular art and how confident you are in being able to use those cues. And the last one to take note of is this, not saying anything at all, pausing. If you have the ability to go on stage and just pause for a few seconds, and then you start your presentation, to scan the room first, it shows immense confidence as well. It calms you down, helps you collect your thoughts, calm your mind, and for you to be able to then deliver with impact. Yeah. So I think we have questions coming in live.
One from Facebook and one
from
Instagram.
So we selected and picked one question from Facebook and one from Instagram. Let's pick the one from Instagram. The question is, have you ever encountered a moment where you're unable to answer a question? If yes, how did you overcome the situation? Yes. So thank you for the question. I've in fact encountered quite a number of situations where I couldn't, answer a particular question, whether it's an interview, For live Q&A, I've not yet find myself in that particular situation. For a live forum, on the other hand, a live Q&A, I mean virtually. Live forum sort of Q&A with a moderator, I think back when I was in my junior college days, yes, there was twice that I wasn't able to answer the question. But here are some ways in which if you're unable to answer the question, there are some recovery techniques that you can apply. Two things I want to share. Number one is you could ask for and seek clarifications, whether it's by way of which question you would like me to, or which angle would you like me to approach the question. Because when you ask this clarification question, or you can clarify certain words, for example, if someone says, hey Darren, is public speaking important? Feel free to clarify. You can clarify and say that, okay, perhaps at the start, which angle would you like me to tackle it from? Is it from the kid's perspective, or is it from the adult's perspective? Now, when you say that, it gives you precious time. It buys you time to think of what you're going to say next, by letting the other party do the talking and letting the other party say something instead. Yeah, make sense? Now, the other thing to help you is to sometimes just be frank. Just be frank. If you don't know the answer to that question, then just say you don't know the answer to that question. Most people appreciate that because you're only human, you may not know all the answers to all the questions available. It's better to say I don't know rather than to smoke and confuse. What we would say is, we can say, because I've not been asked that question before, would it be all right? I don't have the answer with me right now, or I don't have the figures with me right now. Would it be all right if I go and find out, and once we have the figures, you'll be the first that we update? I'll be more than happy to offer you a timely update. If you have seen the press conferences conducted by the Singapore government's multi-ministry task force, it involves several stakeholders, ministers, including DMS, if I recall, it should be the Director of Medical Services, where individuals ask questions like, do you have this specific figure? Out of this specific figure, what's the percentage of individuals who have recovered or individuals who have been discharged and all? There were times in which I've seen, I'm not going to represent which specific question because I can't remember which specific question it is, so that's the caveat out there. But there were times in which I saw that when there wasn't a figure present at that point in time, the speaker then did say that I don't have the figure with me, but when we do have it, yes, if we can publish or if we publish it, we will let you know. So I think people respect that. So if that figure isn't there, it isn't there means it isn't there. I'm not going to be able to come up with any figure from the sky, right? But people want to know what you're doing about it and whether you're going to find out for them. If you cannot share at all because it's confidential, then what's the reason or the rationale behind? So were there any situations in which I've encountered those questions that I wasn't able to answer? Yes, absolutely. This question came from Facebook, and that is how to control looking at a camera when speaking in an online meeting. Some people commented that my eyes were all over the place. So it really depends. Like for me now, I have 3 cameras. So because I have 3 cameras and I'm doing these videos, it's not just live, but on top of that, after the live session, it's going to be recorded, it's going to be reflected. So individuals like the angle. It means that they are looking at Darren Tay through 3 different lenses. They're looking at Darren Tay at different angles, and I toggle amongst the 3 different lenses. This is what we call a pattern break moment, a pattern interrupt moment. It gets the audience members to refocus and to look at the speaker. Now, assuming that you're conducting an online meeting or you're participating in an online meeting and there's only one particular camera or a webcam or a camera inbuilt in your computer or a laptop that you are looking at, question how to control looking at the camera when speaking in an online meeting. It is to really look at that particular camera, the pinhole. Some individuals, when they conduct online meeting, they have a teleprompter. So if you do have a teleprompter, my suggestion is get the teleprompter which has that particular screen right over the pinhole camera or right over the lens of the camera, because that is going to help you focus your eye contact. Individuals looking at the image is as if they are looking at you directly. If you have seen some of my online training programs where I have a laptop with me, students are able to ask questions. As and when I toggle, I look at the questions. But when I speak with the students, it's as if I'm a newscaster and I'm looking in front of a camera and I'm speaking as if that particular camera is a friend. That camera is someone I know that I'm having a conversation with or I am giving a presentation to. So that is one good area to look at. But here's the thing. Many people think that all the time I have to look at the camera. Now that is not true. Because you see, sometimes for an online meeting, it's different from, say, delivering the news. Because for that, people know that it is in that context. When you're conducting an online meeting, it is still a conversation. people know that if it's just like a conversation with your friend, you can't possibly just be staring at your friend all the time. There'll be times in which either you look away, there'll be times in which you look at your notes, you'll be reading this particular paragraph, there'll be times that you're looking at your laptop. It's perfectly fine. But when you do so, just feel free to do it naturally in that space. So when you look at this, like when I'm reading a question, I'm reading the question here, and then I'm looking up again, it mimics a natural conversation. So in that sense, while you are looking at the camera like how a newscaster would, imagining that that's a particular friend you're speaking with, but more importantly, feel free to take on the natural elements as well when you're looking at the other things like your script or maybe your laptop in a meeting. Some laptops have a certain configuration where the webcam is placed at the bottom. I have this laptop which I find it just pure weird because the camera is taking images from upwards like this, so my face will look very, very awkward. I love it where the camera is at my eye level. If not, I will invest in a webcam and I have a tripod, so I'm actually speaking at eye level. So there's one other area that you can do to help you control looking at the camera when speaking in an online meeting. The last thing about speaking in an online meeting is this, when you're managing eye contact, and this is really important. Managing eye contact in an online meeting means that you have to be aware of the space between you and the camera as well. So here's the thing. Individuals who tend to give or participate in casual online meetings where the space between you and the camera is not that important, then it's pretty okay. I'm speaking with individuals who are doing, say, like keynote speeches, individuals who are conducting training classes, lessons and all, where the space is important, or maybe going for contests and all, where the space given to them, they will want to be able to make use of other parts of the body in either gesticulating or even in movement. Then at times, it can be quite effective to introduce certain pattern breaks to be able to go closer to that particular individual. By individual, I mean the tripod. Go closer to shorten the distance between you and the camera. It's as if like you're moving closer to a particular friend. Of course, your friend will be able to see you inching closer, the face getting bigger and stuff. But it's very useful, especially if you're making certain points or certain call for action. Now, more of such details, it's a separate course altogether that I do cover. And we do train our students. But here are just some pointers that you can use to help you in your next meeting. Sounds good? All right, I think I'll take one last question, and it'll be from a personal question box. The question is, Darren, what was your favorite toy? I would say my favorite toy is... Now, yeah, I guess you would have to, I mean, it depends on when you ask me this, right? If it's like now, probably the phone, because it's one where I can play so many games and it's so flat, I can fit the entire phone in my pocket. But if you talk to me about this way in the past, I would say what thrilled me a lot was this particular game that allowed me to strategize. Not so much of a toy, it's more of a game. I digress a bit. It's called Command & Conquer 0 Hour. That really allowed me to strategize, assemble an army, and then to be able to take on the enemy lines. It's really very fun, strategic game. But if you're talking about physical toys, I would say when I was much younger, there's Hot Wheels. It was pretty fun to be able to build the roads and then for the cars to be able to maneuver and move. So I like that a lot. And I would say that would be a toy. Fairly recently, I think about a year plus ago, I went to visit my good friend Mavis, and I was playing a game that her young daughter back then, I think less than about 3-4 years old, Charmaine, I was playing the fishing game, whereby you get a fishing rod and then the fishes will open and close their mouths at random and then you're supposed to fish. You're going to compete with another person with another fishing rod and see how many fishes you can fish. And I lost out to a secondary school teacher, a very good friend of mine, LML. She said that because she's been practicing with her niece, and it was really good fun. Other than that, I think that would be my answer to that. So it's really an engaging session with a lot of very insightful and thought-provoking questions. Thank you for the personal questions coming, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram. I look forward to connecting with everyone. If you find that the tips shared in this particular video they have been useful, feel free to share it with your friends once they are ready for you to share as well, okay? So take care everyone. I'll see you again next week on a Friday. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Again, stay healthy and stay happy. Bye.